Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So the Oscars happened last night, apparently. There are some things that definitely need to be discussed and called out, and some things that really stuck out to me. Now, I didn't actually watch the Oscars. I just watched the highlights, the stuff, the shenanigans that was going on. Now, allegedly, apparently, one thing, like I said, that stuck out to me that I think needs to be talked about is this debacle, if you will, with Halle Berry and Adrian Brody. Now, back in the day, some Oscars ago, some years ago, he had this thing where he ran up and he just kissed her out of the blue. Mind you, Halle Berry was married at the time. Yes, indeed. Adrian Brody was out here kissing married women publicly. Everybody thought it was cute and funny. Now, for whatever reason, Halle Berry decided, I'm going to get my lick back. That's not a lick you want to get back. That's not something I think she should have done. She decides, I'm going to recreate this moment, and I'm going to lock lips with him right in front of his wife. Yes, you heard me correctly. Yes, this is actual footage from the actual moment. Some people on social media had some things they wanted to say. They wanted to get off their chest, how they wanted to express how they felt about this situation. And I'll say what I have to say in between. Somebody on Facebook said, and I quote, when he did it to her, it was cute and funny. Now all of a sudden everyone's mad. LOL, I can't. End quote. The woman under her said, and I quote, poor Georgina is used to sharing her men with the I'm covering my face emoji, end quote. Low key, that was kind of shady, but whatever. The person underneath them said, and I quote, no big deal. They're in show business, putting on a show, and they're good friends, just a joke, and it wasn't like he or she enjoyed it romantically. I think y'all are overreacting in the comments a little, end quote. I'm going to pause right there for just a moment. Now, I've said this before. If y'all followed my channel for a little bit, y'all know my stance when it comes to marriage. Respect the God-made institution that is commitment. We call it marriage. Respect the marriage. If you're outside of the marriage, you don't do marriage activities with somebody who's married to somebody else. Point blank, period. I've also said this before when it comes to these celebrities, when it comes to specifically also actors, actresses, and even singers, artists. This is something that you have to be thinking about if you're considering getting into a relationship with them. No, I don't think it's right that actors and actresses do, and I quote, romantic scenes, explicit scenes with other people in movies, TV shows, songs, music videos, but that's what they're going to do. That's what their managers have them doing. We don't know the obligations that they're bound by, so to speak, whenever they sign those contracts with whoever they've signed them with. But this comes with the territory of being with an actor, a performer. Like I said, I don't think that it's right. And it's not about what I think, it's about the truth. You're still married. That actor bullcrap, that doesn't overshadow your commitment. You said, for better or for worse, I do. That doesn't mean, oh, I do until I have to sleep with this other lady for a role, or we're, simulating, if you will, sex for a role. It's still sex if you ask me. But once again, in today's society, they have it structured to where, oh, it's okay if you're actors, it's just good fun. No, it's inappropriate. Although people don't see it that way in today's society because of the low standards and the low self-respect and respect for other people that has run amok in our society. Also, the lack of respect for the commitment, like I said before. The perversion that has run amok. Again, us being so desensitized to what is wrong that we think it's right or okay when it's not and it never will be. Another person said, and I quote, she would be picking her teeth up off of the floor if this was my man, end quote. Not her saying she would be doing the women's remix to the slap from a couple of Oscars ago. I'm not going to even repeat what the person below her commented. Y'all can read it for yourselves. But the person under them said, and I quote, all the insecure women in the comments, end quote. And it's funny, these comments that people leave here on these platforms, because usually these are the people who either have lackluster lackluster, mediocre standards for relationships once again. Not one single ounce of respect for themselves and other people, or they're projecting these feelings onto other people, which is why they're saying this, or they're hypocrites because we all know good and well if this was the person they were in a relationship with and they were over here kissing somebody, they wouldn't be saying that mess. It hits different when it's you. A woman not wanting her husband to kiss another woman is not insecure, it's normal. I have a feeling the comments might not be the same for most people if the roles were reversed. Now, this one person said, and I quote, I guess they're giving us background history, if you will, it was a play on Adrian kissing Halle when she was presenting him with his first Oscar a million years ago. He kissed her like that, she was getting him back. Does anyone remember anything these days? And I get the background history, but still, right is right and wrong is wrong. Reserve your lips for the person who committed themselves to you. Now, at the same time, some people are saying, now, if Halle was up there presenting this award or doing whatever she was at that time, that particular time back in the day, and then he took that, time to do that when she was married, her getting him back is her way of saying, hey, you did it to me, now I get to do it to you because you're the one that's married and I'm not. Still, why are we stooping down to each other's level? Does anybody understand what I'm saying here, what I'm getting at? One person doubled down on what I was saying about when you're dating an actor, unfortunately, even though I don't think this is right and it's not about what I think, it's about what's right and what's wrong. It's not right. This comes with the territory of dating an actor or an actress. They said, and I quote, dating an actor is the real definition of strong with the crying laughing face emoji, end quote. And it should not be that way. There are people, whether y'all want to believe this or not, whose standards are so ironclad and they respect their commitment, God, and the people who they are committed to so much that when they get married, they said, I am no longer doing explicit adult scenes with anybody unless it's my spouse. And even then, I don't want all of our body parts and all of our intimate scenes, whatever, all over the internet, all over the screen for people to see. They have that kind of standard. And the fact that people will shame people. That's crazy how it has been reverse engineered, if you will, to shame the people that's doing good because they're ashamed of the fact that they're mediocre and they want to be and they don't want to change. Instead of shaming the actions that are actually wrong, people have reverse engineered shame to the point where they are shaming people for setting a high standard and living to it because they are mediocre. Once again, they don't want to do better. So it's easier for them to shame the people who are so that they can maybe break their spirit so that they can come down to their level. And then everybody can be comfortably living in mediocrity and low standards. Another person tried to make this okay by saying, and I quote, every relationship is different, y'all, with the laughing, crying face emoji. But you also need to understand on set when people get physical, there is an intimacy coordinator there. And all actions are discussed and very well planned to ensure everyone is comfortable and no lines are crossed for a job. Them kissing each other off set is completely separate from what actors do on set. Now, I'm assuming this person said this part of the post because they're rationalizing, like I said, intimacy scenes being recorded for a film, TV show, music video, whatever, whether or not the person is actually in a married relationship or not. But then a bit of hypocrisy starts to slip in because she goes on to say, and I quote, I'd care if it were my man because what in the world are your lips doing on anyone but me without my permission? But if his wife doesn't care, then I guess to each their own. Haha, the internet's a wild place, judging relationships of people we don't even know, crying face emoji, end quote. First of all, it's crazy that people love to say judging people or judging people's relationship that you don't know, but they'll worship people who they don't know. They'll give money to people who they don't know. They'll support people who they don't know, even though we've seen them do some crazy, wild stuff publicly that all support needs to be withdrawn from them for. But I guess judging them's off the table. So one thing about this generation that really irks me, this whole don't judge me, they've made a whole challenge, if you will, a trend out of it recently. The whole we listen and don't judge challenge, whatever you want to call it. It's ridiculous to me because some people take that time to say the wildest things they have done, either just themselves, point blank period, or to other people in certain situations where they were blatantly wrong. And it's like, what do you mean don't judge you? No, somebody does need to judge you depending on what it is. And they need to hold you accountable. You need to hold yourself accountable. or otherwise you just go around doing the same thing you've been doing, feeling like you're okay and you're in the right because nobody said anything to you. Instead of getting offended and having a bruised ego, again, based off of some of the stuff that I've seen only briefly coming out of some of these conversations of the we listen and don't judge, some of these people need to be grateful that they're doing what they think is calling judging, because some of these people are really just calling them out on what they did. Because without that, again, you will never grow, you will never mature, you will never become a better person, the best you can. Especially if you're out here doing crazy stuff you think it's okay to do and then brag and laugh about it and make a joke about it on the internet. I don't think so. Now, the reason why I said that there was some hypocrisy slipping in was because so it's okay for you to have the standard of, I'm going to be mad if my husband's over here kissing some woman that's not me, but oh, if some other person does that, then it's fine. And how do you know his wife was okay with it? Just because she was a good sport, if you will, about it on the red carpet and didn't slap her upside the head after she did that doesn't mean she was okay with it. Again, so it's okay for you to have that standard for your relationships. Don't be out here doing intimate things with people that you're not committed to. You're committed to me, not them. But anybody else, oh, whatever they do, everybody's relationship is different. Again, that's why relationships look the way that they do, the hot mess that they are in this generation, in this society, in our communities now, because we don't hold that same standard across the board. Y'all, I can't get over the facial expression of this Barbie doll because that's the exact expression I was making reading some of them comments, especially within those challenges, if you will, the trends. We listen and don't judge. Some of the stuff people were saying before anybody says I'm being self-righteous or I'm being overly religious by saying I am judging some of these people and what they've done. When you come across some of the ones that some of these people out there are putting out there, you're going to understand why I said what I said. Like if people are out here making crazy comments, for just example, like, oh yeah, I cheated on my girlfriend of 5 years, even though I led her on and made her think I was going to commit to her. And she's done nothing but bend over backwards and then break into a million pieces for me. Or with the women, oh yeah, I cheated on my boyfriend with his brother and his other brother and his cousin and then his uncle, even though he's a good man. I'm letting you all know right now, I am judging with no shame. Once again, somebody tried to rationalize this by saying, and I quote, yikes, not only do most of these comments not pass the vibe check, but y'all clearly live under a rock if you don't remember that he did the same thing to her on national television, end quote. No, they just don't live chronically online. They're not worshiping these celebrities and watching their every move because they've got more productive, more important, more godly things to be concerned about. And if justifying a woman who's not even married kissing a guy who is in front of his wife grants you the vibe check and whoever's giving it can go kick rocks. Now somebody who finally was coming with some kind of a standard, as I said before, some kind of ethics, some kind of integrity. This woman said, and I quote, y'all making excuses for this is crazy, when in reality, if this were to happen to you, you would be pissed. People say they are actors, so it's okay, as if actors are some other type of breed. They're literally still human. Even actors can feel all kinds of feelings and be tempted during scenes of intimacy. You think they're just so professional that they don't get tempted and feel attraction? End quote. And this is the golden comment of the day. She said it all in this one post. People really be acting like because these people are professional actors and actresses that they don't sometimes get tempted to either cheat on their wife or do things that they should not after doing these scenes. So many actors have proved that. Allegedly, wasn't it when Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt got together in that scene? Those scenes, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they may as well have been having intercourse on screen. That was basically barely clothed corn, if you will. Wasn't he in a relationship before all that happened and no longer was afterwards? How many other celebrities have done intimate scenes with their co-stars and then their relationship with who they were in a relationship with went to shambles? Just recently, people were calling out Hugh Jackman because he was in a whole married relationship for decades, apparently. And then he went to Broadway, if I'm not mistaken, to do some kind of romantic Broadway show where he essentially got the hots, if you will, for his co-star. And then they were out gallivanting around town acting like newlyweds. She's right when she says people be treating these celebrities, these actors, like they're not even human. Like they don't suffer from the same vices that we do as normal people. And they do, but they cover it up and they get away with it all the time. That kind of idol worship, that kind of lack of humanity or treating them like they're not human. That dehumanization of them is actually not a good thing, despite what people may think, because it feeds their ego and their pride. And then they start to think they can just do whatever without consequences. Again, another example is Ethan Slater and how he blew up his married relationship with his wife, who he had an entire child with, over Ariana Grande. I didn't even see whatever it was that they did together whenever they got together, or that led them together whenever they met. I don't even think it was an actual intimate scene, but he blew up his whole relationship for this woman. These actors and actresses be doing this a lot more often than people actually confront them about, and the fans give them too much leeway. The fans will go along with it and say, oh, they can do whatever they want to despite them being married or the other person being married. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Who do they think they are to stop them anyways? They don't feel anything for this person. Like that other person was saying, oh, there's no romantic feelings involved. They can kiss without romantic feelings involved. But then when it turns out that they did have romantic feelings, or this person decides, I want to be with the co-star now all of a sudden they've jumped ship and they're saying, oh, they can do whatever they want to. Relationships break up all the time. People are crazy, y'all. Another delusional person said, and I quote, that kiss was all in fun. Looks like a kiss from a soap opera. It's called acting, people. End quote. It's called you not being faithful to your spouse and then you using, acting as a cover. Why was he out here again anyways, kissing married women anyways? See, now, one could also say that this is him reaping what he sowed, even though, like I said before, Halle Berry should not have stooped to that level and did that. People can say it was in good fun. This would have never happened if he would have did that to begin with. But then again, this is Hollywood. These are Hollywood elite actors. Ain't no telling what they got going on behind closed doors, if you get my drift. And I said that because of this comment that said, and I quote, that was payback for him kissing her in the 2000s. Also, it was for good luck. He won the Oscar too, end quote. Y'all know I don't believe in luck. That's not a godly term. Like I said, y'all don't know what they got going on, what they have to do with this person, that person, and the other person to get from point A to point B to get this award, that award. This could have been an industry-related event for all we know. That's another reason why I don't think that this is cute, nor should it be celebrated. Now, this other person also tried to rationalize it by saying that Halle Berry asked his wife, didn't even call the woman his wife, unless I have it wrong. From my understanding, the woman is his wife. Ask the woman, hey, is it okay for me to do this? I didn't really see that. I saw her saying in the video, it was a short video, but if you watch the entire video with the sound on, she says, oh, I have to do it. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to do it. And that is not enough time for a wife to say, oh, yeah, that's perfectly fine. You can go right ahead. Oh, this was you getting him back all in good fun from the 2000s. 25 years ago, a quarter of a century, that was not enough time for her to process that in that very short moment. She didn't stop to talk to her and say, hey, I'm about to sneak up on him and we're going to do our little get back from the 2000s, a little call back, if you will. She didn't do that. She went in for it as she was saying, oh, I'm sorry, I have to do it, and then did what she did. Like I said, people also try to rationalize it by saying, oh, well, she talked to his wife afterwards. She thanked her, whatever, also hugged her and gave her a kiss on the cheek. Again, you making it up by kissing her too, not on the mouth but on the cheek. That's not smoothing anything over. Now, somebody said, and I quote, I wonder if he got permission from Eric Bennett to kiss Halle, his then wife, end quote, insinuating that while Halle Berry at least told his wife beforehand, what it would seem like is that Adrian Brody just went up and kissed Halle Berry. Now, we don't know, maybe he could have talked to the man off screen before he did it. We don't know for sure. But the optics are saying because it was caught on camera, her actually giving his wife some kind of attention before she did this. Again, the optics is now causing, I guess, sort of like a gender war, if you will, with this whole, when he did it, y'all didn't say anything, but she did it, and y'all are all mad, y'all are saying this, that, and the other. She asked his wife for permission, but did he ask her husband for permission? To keep all that from happening, to, squash that gender war before it really gets started, what's one thing we can all do? Keep our lips to ourselves. I don't care anything about, it's just a kiss and good fun. Keep your lips to yourself. And also to the person who you are in a committed relationship with, of course, with their consent as well. That's very important. Now, another thing that stuck out to me during this Oscars event was who I mentioned before, Ethan Slater, following around Ariana Grande like a lost puppy at the award show. He looked real ridiculous. People were saying, you didn't got left in this woman's shadow. She's really not even paying you any attention. People were saying it was very cringe. That whole ordeal, they asked him on the red carpet, how you feeling tonight? Are you enjoying your time with your girl? And he said, do you mean Ariana? And everybody else was like, who in the world do you think they mean? Who else is your girl? Not the wife who you left in the dust, who you threw under the bus. For this woman who's going to throw you under the bus in due time. Like I said, people were talking about how cringy it was to watch. They were saying, this is not cute at all. I don't know what y'all thought this was. You look ridiculous. You look like a hot mess. They were saying that apparently, allegedly, she didn't even sit by him during the award show. And I guess some people would argue, well, he's not the main celebrity here. She is. And she also had to perform. But still, it's giving she's now starting the process of cutting him off. Or at least she's about to begin the process of, once again, leaving him in the dust now. They did bring up his ex-wife, talking about how, she never thought that she would see this coming, even after some time, because I believe it's been over a year now since this happened. She's still raising their son essentially on her own, or at least doing the bulk of the child rearing by herself. Once again, she never pictured herself in this position after all that time, after he said, I do. Remember that commitment that I was talking about that he made? That he flaked on. She did mention that he does help with co-parenting, which is good. And I'm glad that he's still helping in that area, because just because their relationship is now over, because he decided to be a weak-minded and weak man and throw his relationship in the trash for a temporary fling, doesn't mean he gets to flake on his responsibilities as a father. Now, don't misconstrue what I'm trying to say. Him leaving his wife point blank period was absolutely wrong. I'm saying on top of that, don't also be a bad father by not being involved. Speaking of Ariana Grande, her being on the stage with Cynthia Erivo, I guess they were re-performing something from the movie, play, whatever it is, Wicked. I did not go to see the movie, and I'm encouraging other people to not also go see it, not just because this is all witchcraft, let's just be blatantly honest, but also because, well, for one, Cynthia Erivo has allegedly announced that she's going to play Jesus, some perverted, distorted role of Jesus in a film, allegedly. I don't think so. Before anybody says, oh, you're just saying that because she's not a Christian, because she's not straight, whatever it is, they would never do this with any other religion. Let somebody like Cynthia Erivo talk about, oh, she's going to play Muhammad in a video, in a movie. Or she decided she was going to play Allah in a movie, in a video, in a play, whatever she's calling it. The Muslims would go to war. And it's not because she's a black woman trying to do this. It's because whenever it comes to Christianity, people love to play in people's faces. They always want to mock God and mock Christians. They want to mock the Bible. They don't ever do this with other people. The hypocrisy and the disrespect. I hope it gets blocked. I hope people protest into oblivion. I hope it never comes to fruition. I said what I said. And as for Ariana Grande, the movie should have been boycotted, because once again, she's still a homewrecker and a witch at that. But this just goes to show you, just like some of those Facebook posts that I quoted earlier, you can do all of that. You can disrespect somebody's marriage, trample over commitment, and people will still put you on a pedestal because you can sing, act, and because you look pretty. Once again, our society is very desensitized to that which is perverse, to that which is wrong. They have embraced that which is perverse and that which is wrong. They've made excuses for and enabled things we really should be calling out. A lack of integrity, a lack of respect, a lack of standards. For anybody who wants to say, oh, that's not the truth, then please explain to me why the two of them haven't been boycotted, protested. The fact that they have not been booed at almost every outing that they've gone to, every public appearance that they've made, that they have not lost a tremendous amount of support towards their careers despite what they've done, shows us, shows everybody, proves to me that we live in a society, in a community that is not a society and a community to other people. We're a society and a community of hypocrisy, and again, a lack of standards and morals, and also a lack of empathy and understanding towards other people despite our differences in every area of life. You all let me know what you think about all of this respectfully down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You all have a very blessed, beautiful, and safe day.